I was just wondering, can you tell me about your life, where you was born and life in Kenya?
Life in Kenya. I was born in Kenya in 1959,
Okay.
in a small town called Nakuru, which is about 100 miles from the capital. At that time, life was very nice and quiet. So, yeah.
How long did you live in Nakuru for?
I lived in Nakuru for 15 years.
Wow.
I did my middle secondary school there before we came to the UK in 75.
So you've got some good memories of Nakuru then?
Yes, I've got
What
very good fond memories.
What do you remember the most?
I used to remember how people used to gather, how people used to link with each other, how they had their little networks together. The families used to get together, and then especially on a Sunday evening, everybody used to go into town, onto the main street, just like for a stroll. So you just walk up and down the street, under the main street, like window shopping.
Yeah.
On the Sunday evening, and people used to meet each other who haven't seen for the week.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great.
And the environment where you lived, was there predominantly people from Hindustan that had come there, or were they born in Africa?
Most
Africans?
most of them were Africans.
Okay.
The people that came from Hindustan were the old school kind of
Yeah.
thing. So most first generation. So we were like the third generation there. So the second generation were born there, and then we were born there as well. So like my dad, he came from India, a place called Kotli in Jalandhar, and he came over there. Before him, his father came there. My grandfather came from there, and then they married locally over there.
And what was the environment like growing up with black Africans in Nakuru? Did they treat you equally, or did you feel like an outsider?
It was absolutely fantastic. You did not feel that you were a different skin color. It was absolutely great. The Africans were great. The Sikhs, the Hindus. We would just mix with each other, go to each other's houses, go and have something to eat there. We even went to their gurdwaras, into the mandirs, and performed their Diwali, what do they call those? Garba. And it was absolutely great. And I remember one incident what we used to be very good at doing was we used to sit, and we were naughty kids, we used to sit and watch when the Hindu ladies used to come into the mandir to do their prayers. So and the signal was the bell. So once they've done the bell, you look out for them. When they've gone, so we used to just creep up there and just nick the money and the sweets and everything and go off with it.
Did you ever get caught?
Yeah, we never got caught. We were good at that. We never got caught at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you feel as though, like you used to go to the Hindu temples and see their rituals?
Yeah.
Not always to go and steal the money.
No.
But you used to go education. Yeah. Did the Hindus used to do this with the Muslims as well?
Yes.
Was it all?
The Hindus used to come to the masjid.
Yeah.
Some of them used to come inside and have a look what's happening, and we used to explain to them this is the way it is done. But you see, at that time around the masjid there used to be also functions happening. So there used to be food and people, gathering and everything. So they used to participate in all that. Yeah.
Just going back to Nakuru again, you were saying that you had people working for you.
Yeah.
How did all that come about? Was that something that used to happen all the time for families?
Yeah. You see, we had a house maid, we had a watchman, we had a driver. My dad, who used to work at the Ministry of Works as a building inspector.
Okay.
So some of these were perks with the job. So whatever you wanted, you had, you'd just leave your cup or whatever you drink, just leave it there and walk off. The next time you come round, it's not even there. You never washed up, you never cleaned any toilets, you never washed the bathrooms, you never done nothing. And that was a completely 180-degree shock.
Yeah.
And then when we came out of the airport here, we didn't even have any coats or anything, mid of October. And that cold, when that cold hit us, and I thought, they just looked at my dad and said, "Where have you brought us, man?"
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad, that.
You've got some really good memories of Nakuru, and it'll be alright just to go back to
Yes.
some of those. Tell me about the house that you lived in. What was that like?
The area we lived in was called Bondeni.
Bondeni.
Yeah. Now, Bondeni was like a middle class area where they had these quarters for the government officials. So we lived in the middle of the street, and it was a bungalow. I remember that very well. It was a bungalow with 3 bedrooms, and an outer house, which was the servant quarters, and he had his own toilet and he had his own little kitchen.
Lucky man.
Yeah. That, yeah, I remember that very well. Yes.
And your neighbours, did they have the same sort of dimensions of the?
The houses, they were about the same. Yeah, they were about the same. We had on the end of one side we had was a police inspector, and then we had next to us, our neighbour was in charge of the dog section of the police. And on this side we had another 2 houses were taken by the Ministry of Works.
Wow.
Who were my dad's assistants.
Yeah.
So we also had a dog we had 2 dogs actually.
Okay.
That was given to us by the police, the dog section guy. Yeah.
Wow. And what happened to the dogs when you came? Did somebody else just take them on?
No, the dogs, we gave them back to them. Yeah.
What about your education? What was that like in Nakuru?
Nakuru education was good.
What do you remember about school?
A lot of beating.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Honestly, I had beautiful teachers who used to beat me so much.
Wow.
I love it. I remember him very well, and then I met him once here. And he was with his son, and I told him this. So he just looked at me and he looked at his son. He says, "Don't listen to him." He says, he was very naughty. I said, "But you still beat us, didn't you, Mr. Parkar? You beat us. He used to beat us."
Was it the cane on the hand?
No, this guy, he had a very funny way of dealing with it. I think he loved pain. Because what he used to do was, he used to come in and just stroke your ear first. And just stroke your ear to, get your mind somewhere else. And then, the back of the ear, the little bone there, he'd press that. So when he presses that, with that pain, you go, "Oh," like this. So when you go, "Oh," like this, with this little thing here, he'll give it in your backbone. And you go, "Oh, oh."
Wow.
Yeah.
Was this a boys' school then that you went to?
It was a mixed school.
A mixed school?
Yeah, it was a mixed school. With girls in the class, with boys in the class. And funny thing is, this guy, he was a Muslim. And he would only pick on me. My another friend who came from Pakistan, his name was Javed. I remember him, and there's another African kid, I forget his name. The 3 of us used to get picked on all the time, every time,
So that wasn't the nicest of memories of the school.
No, and then we went to high school.
Yeah.
And in the high school we had a teacher, the head teacher there. It was Mr. Obari, he was called. Now, if you got into trouble with Mr. Obari, he would ask you to go to his office. So you went and waited outside his office. Okay. So when he came in, he had a cupboard. So he'd open his cupboard. And when you open the cupboard, there's different kinds of canes in this cupboard. Honest to God. I wish I'd taken pictures if I had a camera. He had different kinds of canes in this cupboard. And he had all those massage tables. So he first of all ask you to pick a cane. So you have the
And
privilege
this was at the age of 14, 13, 14.
13, 14 years old. So you pick that cane, and then you can lie on this table, and then you get 6 on your backside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But education was brilliant. Education's great over there. We did just before we left for the UK, we were doing Shakespeare in English literature. I did history, geography, all that. And then the president then said that we don't need this English literature, so we're going to go into African authors. So we were then doing African authors as the English literature. Yeah, but they had, I don't remember the syllabus, it was, but the O-level syllabus that we used to do, it was then called O-level. Cambridge, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah, we the whole country was doing that syllabus, yeah.
Which was your favourite subjects?
I loved them all. I loved them all, you know, so I like history, geography, maths, yeah.
And what about dinner times? Because we used to have our own dinners, didn't we? What did you used to do at dinner times, and what food did you eat?
At dinner times, we used to go home.
Okay.
So, because school was just near home, so we used to go home. So, there was no school dinners or anything like that. So everybody just used to go home for dinner. So you go home, you have your lunch, and then you come back again. But it was very, very strict. I mean, I came here and the education, I think my education was good when I was there.
Can you remember what time you used to start school?
We used to start school around 8, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And before you'd get to the school gates, we had a head prefect and a prefect, and one of the teachers used to stand at the main gates of the school. And they watch it. Every student coming in, so you have your blazer, you have your shirt, you have your tie, you have your stockings. They have to be up, and your socks, right? They have to be up. Your shorts are nice. Your tie has to be up, and your blazer has to be on before you come into school.
Wow.
And you come here, and I asked for uniform. They said, uniform? What is uniform? Okay, you know.
And was it the same in the high school that you went to while she was there as well?
Yes.
As strict as the middle school?
Very strict, yes. Yeah.
Tell me about, what did you used to do with your friends for enjoyment? Did you used to meet up with them while you were there?
Yes,
or was it more family orientated? We
used to meet up, and we used to go around on bicycles. Mostly out. We used to go out play cricket. We used to play games, and then we had a favorite little hangout in town. It used to be called Tipsy Restaurant. So we used to go to the Tipsy Restaurant. When you go to a Tipsy Restaurant, they used to have these arcade games, ping pong games and all these arcade games. So you play those games, and I remember he used to sell samosas and cutlas. Very nice, with Vimto. The drink was Vimto. Carbonated Vimto. Oh, making me hungry now thinking of all those things. Yeah. That's the way we used to spend our time. And
was it predominantly just the men that was going there, the boys?
Yeah, it was just the boys. Yeah. It was just the boys, yeah.
What about on the Islamic side? Did you go to any masjid there, or did you learn at home?
No, Islamic side, you see, there was another, that was also different. The Asian community there were kind of well off. So the Asian community had, the families used to get the malam to come home to teach the kids, right? So the malam used to come home to teach the kid specific times. Me and my brother, we had the other privilege, but my mom, she used to say, no, these two are going to go to the masjid. So in the masjid, you've got Arab kids, you've got African kids. Only 2 Asian kids is us.
Wow.
Okay, so you sit there and you learn. So the Malim now is being very conscious. So the Malim says, what if they misbehave or they can't read? She says, you're going to beat them like you're going to beat everybody else. You see? So the Malim had a free hand at us as well. But we learned. We went to the masjid that, yeah.
And the children they were fine with you. They didn't say.
No, at first they thought, oh, what's all this? You see, but they were okay with us. Some of them tried to bully us, but my brother, who was younger than me, was a much stronger force than I was, and he used to just come up and say, behave yourself, or we'll fix you. One of those other people, So I had him to protect me.
Talking about food, what's the best childhood memory, or what do you remember the most food-wise? Which was your favourite dish?
Oh, there was loads. I mean, we talked about matoke the other day, and we were having matoke here. We have matoke, we have mogo, cassavas. They're great. My grandmother used to make an African dish, which is ugali with skumawiki and a bit of meat in it, with no oils or anything in that. It was very nice, very healthy. Yeah.
At the age of 15, when you found out that you was leaving the country that you was born in, had some amazing memories. How did that make you feel before you came and you found out you was going to move here?
Devastated. You see, because all your family is there. I didn't know that we had extended family elsewhere, but all your family is there. All your friends are there. So, your network of friends and everybody's right there next to you. So as far as I was concerned, I'm going to leave all this and I'll be on my own, going to different land. We've heard about you, the UK, but so it was very, very traumatic kind of thing until we came here.
When you came here, can you remember the journey? And how you felt about when you was landing in UK and expectations?
I don't remember much of the flight into Heathrow, but one thing was when we landed, and it took us so long, first of all, in the immigration, because we came in as a settlement, so they had to do all these checks on us with X-rays and all this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that? Can you remember the reason why they had to do that?
You see, nowadays the health checks are done over there.
Yeah.
Wherever you come. If you come from Pakistan, all your health checks and everything are done over there. And then you produce this for the visa purposes. But in those days, when you landed is the time that the health checks were done at the airport.
Wow.
So there was like my mom, my dad, and 4 of us. So it took us some time to get through. And they did TB x-rays and all sorts of x-rays and medical checks on you, and before they declared you were actually fit to come through, checking all your vaccinations. And it was a headache.
Very intimidating.
Yes, and then when we came through, we were pushing all these trolleys. And now we used to pushing trolleys. We had so-and-so there. So you got to push your own trolley yourself, in little carts. And then my dad, I remember this very well. My dad, the green channel and the red channel. My dad decides to go through the red channel.
Oh.
So he's going through the items to declare.
Yeah.
So he goes through the items to declare, and there's an old man sat there, says, yes, what have you got to declare? He says, I'm coming to the UK for the first time. I've got my family with me. I've got all my household stuff with me and everything. So do you want to check all this? So the old man looked at him, and he looked at me and says, no, you can go.
He'd have been there all day.
We'd have been there every day, all the time, because I'm growing up now, and we remember the things, some of the things that we brought in. You're not supposed to bring it. Like there were some skins.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to bring in skins, and there was other items as well. I think one of my relatives gave my dad, and I'm very sure of this, he gave him some films to bring him here to develop those films. And he says, don't open them, just give them to this person. And I'm sure there was some currency in that. So those are all contraband items that you're not supposed to buy.
You were saying that you came in, was it October?
October.
There was 4 of you with mum and dad.
Yeah.
You came to Heathrow, you had the scans done. What happened after that?
After that, we came out of there, and we had my cousins. I had 3 of my cousins who came in 3 different cars to pick us up from Rochdale, and they came. Now, I was just thinking, London to Rochdale, half an hour or so like this. It wasn't half an hour, so 3 hours or something like that, in the middle of the night, you see. Because we didn't know anybody in London, so we just got into the cars and drove straight into Rochdale. Okay. So the first memory of Rochdale that sticks in my mind was freehold flats. As we came down Manchester Road to turn onto Tweedale Street, because we landed and we came and stayed with my uncle who lived in Tweedale Street. Okay, so as we stopped to turn in there, it's those freehold flats that I just saw, and I thought, whoa, look at these buildings. Yeah, because back in Nakuru, buildings we never had any high-rise flats or anything like that. You see, so we didn't know anything. We didn't have any high-rise buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And so 15, you came here, shocked to the system.
Yeah.
Did you go back to school?
Yes, I went and got myself enrolled, and my brother and my sister enrolled, and my eldest sister didn't want to do studies, so the 3 of us, I got the 3 of us enrolled. The education department was in Middleton at that time.
Right.
So I went by bus and I found out, and then they enrolled us into Alder Hill School, absolutely brand new at that time. They just opened.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they opened in September.
Wow.
And we got in here October 10. So yeah.
3 Asians not used to being there, and what was that like?
It was strange. I mean, first of all, you come into school. First of all, you see the thing you see in this country. First of all, is there's no Africans. It's all white people, and there's all Asians. And we were used to Africans all over the place. And then when you go to school, there was, I think, maybe 1 or 2 Africans. They were from West Indies.
Yeah.
So that was very strange. And to see so many Pakistani kids, and everybody's looking at you like somebody's strange or something like that, you see. And then you had the whites as well. And then at that time there's a lot of racism as well, bear in mind, you see. So, but we managed to somehow crawl in and become friends. I thought, my brother's saying to me, he says, look, there's only way in is we have to do it now, otherwise we're going to sink. So we did it.
So Alder Hill had good memories?
Yes, Alder Hill had good memories. Nice, good teachers. But one thing I found out that the discipline of teachers and the respect that we have for teachers, the kids here didn't have that. Okay, so that, like I said to you, my education was way up there, but then it started coming down because of that. So I was thinking, is my teacher, I'm not doing it. So I was writing notes and somebody's asking me, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking notes of what the teacher, you don't need that. Okay. See?
Yeah.
You have a library, go in the library, study them there. And, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you integrate okay with the other peers? Did you get a lot of people asking you many questions about where you'd come from?
No, the friends who we made friends, the Pakistani guys, who we made friends, and then there was one Asian, East African guy. We made friends with them, and they were just more interested in, do you live on trees? Even the white people, do you live on trees? How do you communicate on top of tree, from tree to tree? And I used to say, I left my clothes back on, We used to wear leaves and it's strange.
The Pakistanis would have asked you these kind of questions as well. Did you find any racial tension with the Pakistanis as well as
the Pakistanis? Yes. The Pakistanis didn't think we were Pakistanis.
No. What did you call yourself when you were at school then?
East African Asian up to today.
Yes.
I call myself, when you get the forms to fill in ethnicity, I always say other, East African Asian, and hoping one day that they will change these forms to that. I've always called myself an East African Asian. I'm not an Asian, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not that. This is where I come from. Back home now in Kenya, recently, the East African Asians, the Asians have fought with the government, and they have lobbied the government so much that now they become I think it's the 42nd tribe.
Wow.
They have been recognized now.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Taken a long time now.
Yeah, it's taken a long time, but they have been recognized, and I'm hoping the same here. The Asians here, the Pakistanis here used to say, how do you know this language? How can you speak Punjabi? You're not from Pakistan, how do you know Punjabi? What? I never felt, honestly, being an Asian myself, but I've never felt so much like hatred from these people as much as our thing from somebody else. Because they do not class you as their own, no. They don't. You see, they do. You don't know the religion, you don't know anything, so.
And so when you was here and back there, you used to go to a nice restaurant, eat samosa and play on your arcades. What did you do here at the age of 15, 16 to socialise?
To socialise here, we at that time they had a youth club at the bottom end of Sparrow here, the Sparrow Hill School. There used to be a youth club there, so we were encouraged to go there, and so we used to go to the youth club, and in the youth club they had table tennis, they used to play cards, they used to, you met other people and different people. Yeah, we used to go there. It was quite famous youth club as well, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And after you finished at Alder Hill, what did you end up doing then? What happened?
I did a lot of things. After I finished with Alder Hill, I went to Rochdale College. It was at that time called Rochdale Technical College. I studied there. And then after there, I did. In between, I did some work as well in a restaurant, Umar Khayyam restaurant in Rochdale. And then I went to Hopwood Hall College.
Wow.
And I did my teacher training certificate over there. We did that, and I don't know, some of the things, I don't even know what I have done.
Alhamdulillah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rewind back again to when you first came here.
Yeah.
What did you find, besides not seeing African people here, what did you find really difficult or quite out of the range of what you were used to?
The masjid, they'll hate me for this. The masjid I found very strange.
Yeah.
First of all, there was no masjid. It was like a church which they'd converted on William Street. And then we went into the masjid, we were praying, and in Africa, in Arabia, now in Rochdale they've started saying this. After the Surah Fatiha, they say Ameen. So, waiting to hear this Ameen, there's no Ameen. I'm the only one in the whole of the congregation saying Ameen. And after the Salah, people are looking at me, who's this weird guy? And I tell you, I came home and I cried that day, and I just said, I told my mom and my dad, I said, what kind of a masjid is this where you cannot even hear people saying Ameen? There's no dua, there's no nothing, there's nothing is happening. You see, that was very, I tell you, it was very, very strange. But now, when we got used to it, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, there's a difference. It's very different.
And the culture was extremely different to what it was there and what it was here. A lot to do with the weather changing as well.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time when you just thought, I need to go back to Nakuru?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Do you know, if you think of, you picture this, if you're going to sleep, before you go to sleep, you have to put hot water bottles in your bed, so your bed gets warm. Okay?
Yeah.
And then when you wake up in the morning, it is freezing, and then you have to walk all the way to the bathroom, freezing in the bathroom. So you come out, and you have to shovel this snow out of the way. We came in middle of October, winter is starting.
Yeah.
And in those days, they used to have 4 foot, 5 foot of snow outside. Right? And we're not even used to all this cold. Different kind of clothes. And then the other thing is, you come from a country where you only wear you don't even wear a vest. So you only even wear a t-shirt or a shirt. Hardly wear a sweater. So you come into a country where you're going to wear a vest, a t-shirt, a shirt, a sweater, a jacket, a scarf, gloves, a hat. You think, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, it was horrible. So by the time you come out of the house, you're like already loaded up. If you don't fall into the snow, you're lucky. See? So, yeah.
And did you used to walk it from Tweedle Street to Alder Hill?
Oh, yes.
So that was quite a walk as
Oh,
well
yeah.
then.
We used to walk it. And just to save 5 pence on that bus. So we could spend this 5 pence somewhere else. Yeah. Otherwise, you had to walk it into town through those 100 and something steps and walk it all the way back, right? A lot of exercise. And then catch the bus from there into Grieve, the area, right? And the same all the way back. But sometimes the friends used to say, you know what, let's just walk it. So if you're a few of you and you're walking and you're talking, you don't feel it. But if you're on your own, you will feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've done all that.
And
All that. We even walked through the cemetery as well, ringing all sorts of du'as. Yes.
And the house, when you moved here, completely different to your bungalow that you had.
Yes.
How did you find it? What was you feeling? Can you remember?
Upstairs, downstairs. You need to get used to upstairs, downstairs first of all. Secondly, you need, we had coal fires in those days. So you need to you go to the cellar, you bring this coal out, and then you start the fire, put the coal out there. And it was, you didn't know, and then you have to clean up as well, you know. Not only that, you've got to do all these things, then you have to clean up as well. So it was like, hey, we don't clean up, you know. So my sisters, God bless them, they used to say, okay, they used to clean up. We used to make the mess and then they used to clean up, yeah.
Wow. And food-wise as well, what did you miss the most? And how did you find it being here when you came and there wasn't as much amenities as there are now?
Yes, when we came here, the only shop that was here was Haji's. Here's the only shop there. So you would get whatever he's got. So I don't know where he used to get his stuff from, right? So you'd get, so you're lucky to eat meat. People used to tell us this. Said you're very lucky that you're getting meat, halal meat to eat. So really? Well, we used to have loads over there. What do you mean lucky? He's very lucky to have all that.
What was Eid like in Africa?
Eid. Eid was absolutely fantastic. You go visiting people would come to visit you. And before that, if you're on the Eid al-Adha, before the Eid, my dad used to bring these goats. So you become friendly with the goats. Okay? You feed these goats. These are your pets. You feed these goats. You love this goat. And you come from school. You're petting this goat. You're having nice fun with this goat. Chasing those goat around. Okay? You come back after Eid. Where is this goat? You don't know where this goat is. The next thing is you've been offered pieces of meat which have been barbecued there. And you're eating this and you're not realizing until somebody tells you that's a goat you're eating. Yeah. So I'm used to get a lot of money as well, Eid. You don't even get that here now. No.
Can you recall what Eid was like here when you first came? I mean, now it's different because we've got more families here,
Yeah.
but when you first came, it was a lot more limited, wasn't it?
It was very limited. You would just visit your immediate family and that's it. We would not go anywhere. I don't remember us going anywhere for Eid or doing anything. I really don't remember any of that. Yeah.
When did you class Rochdale as being home? Or have you classed Rochdale as being home?
I have now, to be honest with you. But you miss Rochdale when you are away.
Okay.
You don't miss Rochdale when you're in Rochdale. But I love Rochdale. I'm so used to it. I love it. I mean, if you look around you, the traffic's increasing now. That's it. People are there. But whatever you want is stone's throw away. You know, comparing to Manchester, compared to London, Birmingham, other cities. So if you go to these other cities and you realize, in London, for you to go from A to B, it's going to take you a few hours. You see, so for me now it's home. I love it.
If you had, in an ideal world, if you could pack up everything and go back to Nakuru to live there.
I was gone there yesterday, yeah.
What roots do you still have there now? What connections do you still have with people there? Family there?
Yeah, I got family there. My uncle's still there.
Okay. And
my in-laws are
in
Nairobi, yeah.
And when you last went there, did you see a big difference?
Yes.
What had changed the most?
Population.
Okay.
There's a vast amount of population. The population has left the towns, the little villages, and they've come into the cities. So there's so many people and so many cars, so much congestion. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Have you managed to ever go back to where you was born?
Yes. I went there with my mother. My uncle passed away, and we went. So I took her with me. So she wanted to go there. So we went to Nakuru, where he got stabbed. So we went up to the Kabristan, and I said to my other uncle, I said, look, I'd like to pass by the street. I want to see the house where I was born, where I was brought up. So we went, and I could not recognize anything. I mean, we drove through the town, and he's explaining to me, this is the masjid here, and I'm saying, where? Because all you can see is people.
Wow.
Right? So many people, so many buildings have come up there, high-rise buildings. Any little corner they get as a building up.
Wow.
Okay, so much of this. So, and I remember the road to the Kabristan because my grandmom used to live on that road, just near our house. So coming back and we came into the street, he says, this is the street. I said, no, it's not. This is not the street. This is the street. So we stopped outside the house. He said, this is the house. I said, no, it's not. This is not the house. He said, where is the house? They had containers in front which have been converted into shops.
Okay.
Okay, little businesses, people are running out.
Yeah.
These are just like off the main road.
Mm.
And then behind these containers were the houses.
Wow.
So this house was behind that house, I thought. Honestly, you could not recognize anything. This is a town I was born. I've been there for 15 years. I knew all the gullias, as they say. But no, I was lost, totally lost. There we had one main street, okay, banks, shops and everything. But now they had a shopping mall there. They had huge businesses. They had buildings, and I was just picturing it to be my same old town, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah.
So, having experienced that it was different to what you had expected,
Yes.
and you were saying you'd still go back yesterday,
Yes.
would you still go back to the same town?
I would not go back to the same town. I would go back somewhere else.
Okay.
You see, Kenya is absolutely fantastic country, like the East African countries. You have everything there apart from, if you got money, it's a fantastic place to live. Okay. The only thing you do not have is security.
Okay.
Apart from that, I mean, you can buy health care. That's covered. That's no problem. Apart from security, you don't have, like here, you see, you got a window which has got no, your doors, you don't have any grills or anything. Over there, each window has got a grill on it. So you're thinking, what happened? So I went and stayed with my uncle just before I got married to my wife. I said, in 2010. I just sat there talking to him. I said, what happens if I'm upstairs, you've locked the whole place up, and a fire? What's our escape plan? How are we going to get out of here? We're going to open these shutters and all these doors, because you can't open any grills upstairs.
Okay.
You can just open the window, but how are you going to get out of the grills? You can't. So you've got to come back down, open all these grills, open the shutters, then you come out.
And I take it you didn't have all this kind of security when you was growing up then?
No. No, absolutely not.
Would you say it's due to all the population?
Yeah, it's all the population, and I think it's unemployment as well, and uncertainty of people. But when we were growing up, I don't remember any house having any grills at all.
Wow.
Yeah, it was safe. See? Yeah.
I think you've had an amazing childhood.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's not what children manage to have anymore. Living in UK, it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. I mean, it's amazing. We used to have toys which were made out of hanger wires. The African kids, genius. They used to make these little cars and things made out of hanger wires as toys, right? And then the other one was, we used to make carts with bearings on it and run down the street. And also, these were like a novelty to us, have tires and just run down with tires. And that was fun, You get dirty in the mud, and everything, that you can get hurt, and that was fun. But nowadays, you have kids, give them a phone, give them an iPad. Kid is quiet, It's they don't know what life is. Honestly, they don't know what life is.